Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking about what I call chase trackers. Now, this is going to separate the people who are serious from the people who are just doing this for fun, because this is going to take a little bit of work. The reason why is because what I do is I actually track the information on every single team in the NFL to know how much they won or lost the spread by. Now, if you stay on top of this every week, it only takes, about 10 minutes worth of work to go down and just log in, how much each team won by and what that difference was. And I've created a chart and I log that week after week. But if you end up getting behind, all of a sudden it can become a really tedious pile of work. 5 or 6 weeks go by and suddenly you're looking at 1 or 2 hours worth of work trying to catch up and figure out what's going on. So you need to stay on top of this information. Now, what's important about it is with regression theory, for me it's not enough to know whether a team has won or lost against the spread. I need to know by how much, because the psychological effect on the public is very different in a game where the spread was beat by 2 points than if the spread was beat by 22 points or 32 points or some huge number. Okay, the entire theory is trying to go contrarian to what I think the public is going to do, because the public always does the wrong thing at the right time. And that leaves the opportunity for those of us who are wise enough to recognize it. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the chase tracker. It's pretty simple. All I do is I take a look at what the score was for that week, and then I subtract whatever the point spread is supposed to be, and then I find out what the difference is, and I log that number, and I log whether the team won or lost against the spread. And by creating this list, I'm able to see at a glance, number one, streaks developing, and number two, shocking point spreads. When there's a point spread that is beat by 18 points or more, I consider that shocking, and what I do is I actually highlight that in red on my chase trackers. Now, I have just a short glimpse of what I do with a 10-point teaser to set one up on my whiteboard, but the actual chase tracker itself, I'll have to send that out in an email so that you guys can actually see what I do, and you'll see once you look at it that it makes it a very easy thing to use when you're looking to set up a chase system, because you're going to know right off at a glance if a team has won 4 games in a row. You know to start looking to see if that's a good team to fade or not, and you can know at a glance, okay, this team has beat the spread by 30 points. I think it's time to fade that team, or this team lost by 30 points. I think they're going to rebound. And that is raw data that's important. And last week we talked about the power rankings, and I actually filter out that information further by using the power rankings, because if it's happening in the middle of the power rankings, it's going to be less volatile than if it's happening at the top ranked teams in the power ranking or the bottom ranked teams. And again, if the top ranked team is winning and they won by 30 points, that's not as shocking to the public as if they lost by 30 points, and vice versa for the team on the bottom. Okay, if they've lost by 30 points, well, guess what? The public expects that. This team is at the bottom for a reason. So expecting them to rebound from that is not as wise of a move as it would be, if they actually beat the spread by 30 points, and the public is shocked and thinking, oh my God, this team is good. And then you're like, no, they're not. They just played really hard that last week, and they're going to return back to their losing ways anytime now. And you start chasing, and 3 or 4 games later, or less, you know, basically, usually those expectations come true. They will return right to the losing ways they had before they shocked the world. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of the teams that I tracked, and you know, I set this up in a 10-point teaser, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, what we have here are 3 different teams that I was looking at in Week 7 of the NFL. Now, the Jaguars, they've been sitting at the bottom of the power rankings for quite some time. I don't think they've ever seen above the 20th spot in God knows how long. So anyways, in Week 7, you take a look, they won against the spread. This is not the game itself, but against the spread, they won by 22 points. Now, this is severely shocking to the public, and I expect a strong reaction and for the team to actually go the other way. Now, the Bengals have been recovering in later years. You know, recently they're starting to become a good team, not quite an elite team, but they're flirting with it. So, you know, they've been breaking the top 10 in the power rankings. So when they lose a game by 24 against the spread, basically the public is looking for them to, you know, they're shocked and thinking maybe they're going downhill, but we're looking for a rebound. You know, they're going to come back from that because they've been showing signs of life. Okay, and then this last game, it doesn't have the shock value number-wise that these other games do, but the Patriots is a highly public team. You know, the betting public is all over this team. And in this particular game, in Week 7, they were facing the Jets. So this is a heated rivalry, and they ended up losing against the spread by 9 points. Okay, so in this particular case, we're looking for a rebound. Now, if you take a look at what happened over here, okay, the Jaguars go back to losing, the Bengals go back to winning, and so do the Patriots. The Patriots beat the spread the next week by 21 points. Now, this shows me that my theory is working perfectly. Okay, for the Patriots to win by 21 points the next week tells me that the point spread was too low. And the reason why it was too low is because the public was looking at this loss against the spread and thinking that the Patriots just aren't as strong as they should be. And then next week they come out and they play a strong game. Now, what I do in this particular case is I take these 3 teams and I put them inside a 10-point teaser. Like I said, it's a parlay, but you get to take 10 points off the spread. Now, in this particular case, each team that I chose actually beat the spread straight up, but that's not always the case. However, if you look at these chase trackers that I'm talking about, and just look at different games right after, you know, shocking spreads like this, it's pretty amazing how much they rebound, especially if you get the 10 points. You know, you'll have a team that lost by 25, and then the next week they'll end up, they might not win, you know, they'll lose by 5, but losing by 5 covers inside of a 10-point teaser. I can't tell you how many times I've actually picked winning plays by doing this that, you know, in other circumstances they would have lost. I've had 10-point teasers where all 3 of the teams lost against the spread, but they covered by enough so that I actually won the bet. So it's a really powerful tool. It was actually the first tool that I came up with when I was coming up with the pendulum cycle theory, and I use it to this day. So, that said, if you like this video, if you like the information that you're seeing, go ahead and hit that like button, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.